I did not know a life without him. And I really didn't think that I could live a life without him, so to speak. I don't know, like, I was really codependent on him. I couldn't make decisions for myself. And I didn't really know how to feel because I got so dependent on his feelings. You know, if he was having a bad day, my day was bad. If he was having a good day, my day was good. So without him there, I didn't know how to feel. I lost my will to live, to be honest. I ended up relapsing. You know, they say when you start back, you end up right back where you left off, and that was not the case for me. I ended up way farther than I ever left off. Like, I remember it hadn't even been a month into my relapse, and I had like 7 misses on one arm, 7 misses on another arm. My arms looked like they'd been beat to death.
Explain what that means. 7 misses, you were trying to find a vein, right?
Yeah, misses is from shooting up. I got on the needle really bad. I was shooting meth. Actually, I was doing a little bit of everything. It didn't matter. Any and everything. I was looking for whatever I could to get a little bit of relief. I never got that relief. What I got was deeper into my addiction. I ended up in the woods. I thought if I was in the woods and nobody would know that I was getting high or that I'd relapsed, because they couldn't see me. I can remember a few times still trying to go to Celebrate Recovery. I got mad at God after my husband passed away, but even though I was mad at God, I was scared to let completely go of him, because I knew if I let go, what would happen to me. So I would still go to Celebrate Recovery, and I can remember like my arms being so bad, or they would call me and say, "Are you coming?" And I'd be like, I look really bad. I lost like 62 pounds in 2 months. And it didn't stop there. Like, I went from like, I think 226 to 130 pounds in like 6 months. Just walling out, man. I'm doing whatever I could. I had really bad night terrors when I did sleep. I can't describe to you guys I cannot describe to you guys the trauma that I've dealt with over that. But the mental pictures that I had go through my mind about drove me insane, really.
Let's springboard now let's springboard, okay, to where you were coming, where you turned yourself in, okay. We took you to your parole officers, then you get back to jail, and then let's get going on the good, awesome things that are going on right now.
Okay. So anyway, one night I can remember things got really I don't know, like it had to be somebody out there praying for me, because
a lot of somebody's. You had a lot of people praying for you.
Yeah, a lot of somebody's praying for me, because it was nothing that I could have done. But I'd actually, one night, something just told me that I needed. Well, what had happened was my son I'd got, my phone started going off one night, and it was like ding, 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 ding. And I remember I opened my phone up and I looked down and it said, shooting, at Cumberland Village, and I was like, what is this? And, every message I opened, it was the same thing. And I was like, what's going on? And the next thing I know, my son calls me and he tells me, he's like, Mom, the law's looking for me. And I'm like, what did you do, Hunter? And he's like, just come get me, just come get me. So, anyway, my son ended up getting charged for an attempted murder, case. And I think that's when, God really stepped in. And I know that sounds crazy, when I say that, because my son just got hit with an attempted murder charge. But God moved, because that's when I guess had my mental break, and I knew I needed to get some help. I called Pastor Chip and told him, that I was ready. I think I needed to go to the psych ward. And, he thought that, I could remember him being really excited about me making that decision. So, I got to ride to the psych ward, and, I went there and stayed, and I can remember, I'd been there, 8 days, and I didn't even know it. I got up and used the phone and called my buddy when I got up, and he's like, he said, I thought you were going to call me, and I said, I just did, and he said, Tensie, you've been gone 8 days, and I thought, oh my God. But I want to share with you guys, something that happened to me while I was at the psych ward. This was the first vision I've ever had, and God gave me this vision, and the vision was, so I'm standing up on this stage, right, and I tell everybody, and this is not me being boastful by no means, but I tell everybody, I was so pretty. I'm not talking about, makeup, looking all good. I'm talking about, I just had this shine on
glowing.
me. Yeah, and I'm up on this stage, and I had this microphone in my hand, and I'm just talking, and there's thousands of people gathered around in this auditorium, and they're all gathered around just looking at me. And dead center in the front of the stage is my husband, and I didn't understand what the vision was for a long time, but I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, I stayed in the psych ward for a while, and while I'm in the psych ward, probation and parole had been looking for me, thanks to Tracy Evans. Tracy had been calling probation and parole. Thank God for Tracy Evans, because I really don't know what I'd do without her or my fellowship. But Tracy was really worried that I was going to die. And she called them, and they were looking for me, and they had got an absconded warrant for me. So while I was in the psych ward, I made a decision to turn myself into the Bell County Jail. And I called Chip and told Chip, I was like, Chip, I'm turning myself in. I can't live like this no more. And if I leave here and go back out there, I know what's going to happen. And so they released me from the psych ward, and I did come home, and I stayed that night. And Chip came the very next morning and got me.
Yeah, that was fun. I ain't going yet. I'm ready.
He came and got me. I done made up my mind that I was going to turn myself in, and then I was like, I don't want to go.
I was going to carry you.
But I really didn't know. I didn't know what was to come. I have a fear of change and a fear of the unknown, and I didn't know what was to come. But this is what I do know. I knew whatever was to come had to be better than where I'd been and what had to come. I knew that I would at least be safer there than I would out on the streets. So Chip took me, and I turned myself in, and I can remember when we got to the jail, we pulled into the side, and I seen Miss Annie. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm. I remember well.
I pulled into the side, and I seen Miss Annie, and Miss Annie came over, and she wanted to pray with me, and she started praying over me. And then Michelle came out, and Michelle started praying over me. And then I drove around to the front and told Gary, I was like, Gary, I'll be right back. I'm going to go turn myself in at probation and parole. And, he said, well, go turn yourself in, and I'm going to put you into work. put you in the kitchen to work. But I went and turned myself in at probation and pro and turned myself in and made it to the jail. And let me tell you what happened when I got to the jail. So back of this, I told you all that I had got to go into the jail and minister to the girls there, right? Well, let me tell you who was waiting on me when I got to the jail. The girls that I'd ministered to were waiting on me at the jail.
Minister to you?
With open arms, man. They just wanted to love me back to life. You know, and I cannot express to you how that felt, you know. Because when I got to jail, I was still angry. But them girls, they would say, Tensie, are you going to pray with us? Are you going to lead the prayer tonight, Tensie? And there were so many times that I just did not want to. But I would get up and do it anyway, you know. And God is so good. I cannot tell you all how good God is. Because He made a way for me. And without that love, like, I don't know if I'd be here today. So anyway, I get to the jail, and I'd been there for a while, and I got hit with a trafficking charge. Because while I was out for the 6 months in my relapse, I ended up getting hit for trafficking. Which is not, you know, not, I wasn't blindsided by it because I'd been out there doing the most, for real. But you know, I got some more time added on. I really didn't think that, I think I ended up with like 12 years. And I didn't think that I was going to be able to, I didn't think I was going to make it out for a while. And at this time, I really didn't care because they'd brought my son in for his charge while I was there. And the way I looked at it was everything I have is already in here. You know what I mean? My husband was gone. I didn't have really nothing else outside of here. My son was upstairs in the jail. I was downstairs in the jail. So I was okay with whatever. But anyway, I ended up taking more time. And I can remember somebody said, you need to file for shock probation. And I was like, you know, I'm going to talk to my lawyer about it. So I asked my lawyer, I was like, you know, what do you think about shock probation? He said, absolutely not. He said, there's no reason for you to file. You're not going to get shock probation. And I said, well, what about drug court? Absolutely not. You're not going to get drug court, Tensie. He said, you're already on probation, and they just don't do that. And my words to him was, they may not do that, but my God will do that.
But God.
You know, and if this is God's will, then God will do that. So my lawyer kept telling me no, and I never would speak it out loud because I know what God is capable of doing. So let me tell you what God is capable of doing. My lawyer told me no. Finally, I told him, like, you know, you're my lawyer. You got to do what I tell you to do regardless, you know, whether they're going to tell me yes or no. What I want you to do is file a motion for me to file for shock probation. I'm going to have my people write me some letters and just send them in, and we're going to see what happens, right? I called my people, and I'm like, if you guys want to write a letter for me, write a letter, you know, and let's see if we can get me out to drug court. What happened was I've got some of the best letters that the court system has ever read in their lives. People supporting me. I can't even tell you, like, so many letters. But so my lawyer shows up with all these letters, and I can't even tell you how many letters there was, but I can tell you this. So I'm like, get all my letters together. I want you to, do my motion. But when I got my motion at the jail, guess how many letters were in my file? 7. He filed 7 letters with they were so many more letters. But this was confirmation from God to me because 7 in the Bible means completion, right? So God let me know then that I was going to get drug court. 7 in the Bible means completion. I got 7 letters. And I sent them in. So I called straight at the over at the public defender's office, and I'm like, Sarita, how long does it usually take for this to happen? And she said, well, today's the 26th. It's probably going to take about a month, right? So all this happens. This was on a Thursday, I think, and I'm in Clay County Jail in the bed asleep, and I hear somebody, Tensie, you're wanted on the phone. Well, we all know, like, you cannot call into the jail phones ever, right? Well, what happened was one of the girls had called the public defender's office to talk to Sarita, and Sarita says, is Tensie in there? And she says, yeah. She said, well, get her up. I need to speak to her. So when I get on the phone, Sarita says, you made shock probation, and you're going to drug court. So I got shocked out the drug court, and I get to go to treatment. So I end up going to Cumberland Hope Community in Harlan County, and man, I love that place. Amen. That place has really restored me. You know, God has used that place to restore me. I cannot tell you what that place has done for me. I really can't. There's so much love in that house, and when I couldn't love myself, people in that house loved me. So I'd been there a while, and I ended up going to Phase, right? And I got into Phase. Hadn't been there no time. I'm in Phase, and I just started working on my 4-step. And if you've been in recovery, you know what the 4-step is, right? So I'm working on my resentments. And one night, we're all in the house, and everybody's getting ready to do their phone calls, and they come in there and they say, video phone calls are shut down. No phone calls going out. We want the remotes to the TVs. TVs cannot be turned on. And everybody in the house is like, what's going on? You know, we're all freaking out like something's going on, you know. So that night, like, I'm sitting in the cafeteria, and I don't know what's going on, but I know that my heart's hurting really bad. I had a complete breakdown. I'm crying. I'm going all to pieces, and I'm thinking it's because I'm working on my 4-step, right? But let me share this with you guys. So what happened was that night my brother was shot and killed here in Bell County, and they didn't want me to find out that way. Pastor Chip, I guess, had called up there, and he wanted to come tell me the next morning. And so the next morning, I'm sitting at the table, and I'm working on resentments on my brother. And Miss Julie comes in, and she says, Tensie, can I talk to you? And she takes me out to the gazebo, and that's when her and Chip, you know, told me. And like right before this had happened, like I'd held on to so much resentment on God. I can't even explain to you all. Like, I don't know if I was more mad at him or just mad at myself, you know, because of everything that had happened with my husband, with my relapse, just all this stuff, a new charge, back to jail, you know, all this stuff that had just built up. And I'd held on to that. Like, I wanted to surrender, but I would not fully surrender. I just would not give it all to God. And like a week before this had happened, I was sitting in front of the TV, and it was showing the news, and it showed where the tornado had hit, and all these people who were homeless and out of food, and just all this different stuff. And like an overwhelming feeling got over me, and I just got overwhelmed. Like, I was so worried about all these people who were lost. And I called home, and I talked to Pastor Chip that night, and I was like, Chip, I said, it hurts my heart. And he said, Tensie, Christians everywhere are turning their back against the Lord right now. You know, due to the COVID, due to just all this nasty stuff that's going on in the world. They're turning their back against the Lord. And, you know, to myself, I thought, how dare they? How dare they turn on him? And I went to my room, and the Lord just let me feel this feeling of just sadness, you know, like how he felt, how lonely he felt. And he showed me, like I was one of those who turned my back on him. It was me. And I got down that night, and I just wept and cried out to him. and told him how much I loved him and how sorry that I was. And I had been praying to him like I hadn't prayed to him in a long time. And then the devil come at me with my brother's death, and wanted that to take me out. I can remember I sat in my room for 3 days after I found out about my brother, and I got in such a dark spot. Like, I was contemplating murder, man. It was so bad. Like, I just wanted to hurt everybody that had ever hurt my brother. Everybody that had ever said anything mean to him. Anything foul to him. I wanted to hurt them. And, anyway, I ended up being able to have my brother a memorial. A really nice memorial, actually. There was so many people due to my fellowship that showed up and was able to just share their love for him, share their love for me, and just be supportive.
It was a full house.
Yeah, God really moved that day, and I'm forever grateful for that. But it wasn't until just like a week after that, and I can remember sitting in my room and I thought, the devil is trying to turn me back. He's trying to get me mad again. And I got down on my knees and I just started praising God, because I know that the devil knew that he did not think that I would be doing that. My brother just passing away. He never thought that I would get on my knees and be praising the Lord. And I got on my knees and I just give God praise, because I knew my brother was not suffering anymore. Amen. And that the Lord was going to get me through whatever. So, it wasn't until just a few months ago that, me and Chip, we went out to eat and we got to talking, and, I've been on contract at the Hope Center, and I got some stuff to work through, but, I've been able to work through forgiveness, on Jeremiah, the cop that shot my brother. Chip told me how bad that Jeremiah was hurting when he went and seen him. And that hurt me so bad. For days I just felt his hurt. I don't know what happened up there that day, and I'll never know what happened up there that day. But what I do know is my brother no longer has to be hungry, cold, lonely. He never has to deal with that ever again. And Jeremiah shouldn't have to hold on to that pain either, I forgive him. I want forgiveness on him. I don't believe what happened up there was his fault. I don't believe it, I don't know what happened, but I know it was God's will. I know my brother's in an amazing place right now. An amazing place. And I'm past that. I cannot hold on to that resentment or that anger, because it will take me right back out to using, and I never want to do that again. When I got to the Hope Center, I was a little different than everybody else because I had a higher power, and a lot of those girls didn't, but now I've learned how to work the 12 steps, and I know that I am powerless over a lot of things, and I know that I have to let go and let God, and making an amends. It's a part of my 12 steps, and I want to do that with Jeremiah. I get off contract tomorrow at the center, and I'm going to be starting on a forgiveness letter to him, because I don't want him to have to hold on to that pain either. I just don't want that. I found out since I've been there that I've got kidney disease, and that could be really bad, but I trust the Lord's going to work that out for me. I've been, the Lord has healed me from hepatitis C. That would have been something that I would have been ashamed of, but I'm not ashamed of that. That was a part of my past story. That's not who I am today.
Well, let me ask you a question. What's your future look like?
What's my future look like? So I'd like to be able to tell you, I'd love to be able to tell you all what my future is going to be like, but my future I cannot even fathom, because God has in store for me something that I cannot even imagine. And that's the truth. God is going to do for me. I can't even imagine what all He's going to do for me. But I can tell you this. What the devil meant for bad, God is going to use for good. Amen. I believe God is going to use me. He is going to guide me. He is going to strengthen me. I am going to be a living testimony. I found out that I used a lot of victim stance, because I have been a victim a lot in my life. I've lost my brother, my mother, my other brother, my niece. Addiction has killed out my family. I am a victim, but I don't have to choose to be a victim.
That's right.
Today, I choose to be a survivor. And I can be a survivor because God is helping me to do that. I've gained a lot of tools at the Hope Center. I have an awesome fellowship. I have an amazing sponsor, who's probably, I drive her crazy. I just picked up 2 years of clean time.
Hey.
And I don't know, God has just blessed me tremendously. I'm getting ready to be leaving the center soon, and I'll be able to, start living life on life's terms, and I'm excited. I know this is my thing. I can only keep what I have by giving it away, and that's what I want to do. I'm ready to help others, especially those that I call my people. Addicts, the homeless, anybody that's broken. I have such a love for those people. I just want to love them, and I just want to give them a little bit of hope, and I want to show them that what God has done for me, He can do for them too. He will do for them too. All they have to do is just be willing and open to, to get in position themselves for Him. Since I rededicated my life to the Lord, I have a peace, I have a heart like no other. I love people. When I was out there in addiction, I didn't care about nobody. I had human life didn't have any kind of price for me. It was nothing to me. But now I have a heart for people. I love people. I love myself. I love who I am today. I don't know, I've been blessed with so many things, but
now that's kind of a trip to hear you say you've been blessed with all that you've been through. So that's truly God's given you His heart.
I have been blessed, and with God's grace, I'm sitting here, and I guess that's all that I'm going to share. My name's Tensie, and I'm an addict. I love you guys.
You're victorious. You are. Okay.
I don't know.
Yep.
God's victorious. I'm
Amen.
just me, little old me.
Amen. Good call. Yeah. God bless you. Thank you for sharing your heart. I know it's tough. So.
I love you all.
I love you all too. Bye.